Hi, I'm Jawan Strader, the evening anchor for WTVJ, and I want to wish you, WTVJ, a happy 70th anniversary. Mwah! A big kiss to you and many more. I love the fact that there's a lot of history here at WTVJ. When I talk about history, I'm talking about those that have sat in this chair. I'm talking about like Tony Segreto, like Willard Shepard, the management when you think about Yvette Miley. There's a lot of history here at this station, and it's an NBC owned and operated station, and it's respected in this market. When you think of Miami, you think of WTVJ. Probably the biggest story that I covered here at WTVJ, definitely Parkland, the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And not only covering it here when it was happening and we were getting information here in the studio, but then going out and field anchoring all day, speaking with family members, getting as much information as I could and field anchoring the show from there. That story definitely was one of the biggest stories I've ever covered in my life. Now, understand, I've covered the Charleston, South Carolina shooting at the church, at the black church. I covered the Pulse nightclub shooting, but those prepared me for this. And it's something that I couldn't even fathom because it happened in our backyard. And because it happened in our backyard, that was more emotional for me. But I was able to cover it to the best of my ability, and it's because I was thrown and thrust into the field and covered the other stories. I don't know if we do it better, but I believe that we connect with the community more so than a lot of other stations may, and they may not even realize it, but we are out there, whether it's the Friday Cafe, the truck with the morning team. Maybe it's Brag About Your School, where we're recognizing a school out there. Maybe it's Swag on 6. But you have to understand, not only are we educating the viewers about what's happening in the community, but we're also connecting with the community as well. So we're connecting with students, we're connecting with the community, we're connecting with people. I think we do this more so than any other station in the market. We did that with Voices. Yes, it may say Voices with Jawan Strader, but it's a voice from the community. And we get a chance to hear from those in the community we don't hear from every day. And that is the black community. That's the disenfranchised, those that are impacted, those that are trying to make change and they need their voices heard. This has been on for a year now, 1 year, Emmy nominated in its first year. This show is very powerful, it's impactful, it's talking about conversations that you may be afraid to talk about, things that you may be afraid to talk about at the dinner table, at the lunch table, but you can have these conversations. And even though it may be geared to the black community and the disenfranchised, it's something that's someone or anyone out there can get out of. Absolutely. Every time I go out in the community, people are talking about Voices. To hear people come up to you and say, thank you for what you're doing for our community, there's nothing bigger, as far as a compliment you can get. When people come up to you and say, thank you, continue to do what you're doing, I get that at least several times a week. She's a respected journalist, and I have the utmost respect for Jackie because she's been there. She's been on some of the biggest and toughest stories out there. I love having her next to me. I feel I can trust her. She feels that she can trust me. I always say she's my TV wife because you have to think about it. How much time you spend at work throughout your lifetime? How much time you spend with this person throughout your lifetime, especially if there's a hurricane? You're working closely together. People out there, they notice we match. We're a team. I'm not only a journalist first, but if you look past the journalism credential, you see that I'm a black man up there, sitting up there, and I have to represent. I have to represent for the C.T. Taylors, for the Ed Odells, for the Willard Shepards, for the Yvette Mileys. And they paved the way for me in order for me to sit up in that chair, something that maybe 60 years ago, some didn't even see possible. You continue to touch lives based on how you tell a story. When people come up to you, like I said, with Voices, and they're coming up to you saying, hey, continue to do what you're doing, you're impacting our community. When you are being impactful as a journalist, you know that there's a need for it. You know that there's some out there that they're looking for a voice. They're looking for help. We have NBC6 Response in order to help folks out there. There is a need for it each and every day. Now, I know that social media has helped out in a tremendous way. You just got to learn how to use that to your benefit and to your advantage if you are a journalist. And a lot of us, we've been able to do that with the whole Instagram and Twitter and everything else that's out there. But there's definitely a need for it. To be able to touch somebody's life because of a story that you've told, to be able to make a difference in government because of a story that you've told, to be able to create change because of a story that you've told, that'll never go away. When I think about the pride here, I think about those that came before me. If it wasn't for Yvette Miley, I probably wouldn't be here at this station. This woman, because she is not only a strong woman, but a strong Black woman who became a manager, who could make sure that there are faces like me in this newsroom, who could make sure that there's a position, a place for me at the table in this newsroom. When I think about those that came before me, and you can never, never, ever take that away. You can never discount those that came before you in order to create change. Because they came before me, it enabled me to come here and touch thousands of people, whether it's a week, a day, touch thousands with the stories that we do. That's historic. You tell me what other stations have that Black history that we have. 70 years. What other station in that market has that? We have that. And it's a blessing to work for a station like that with so much rich history and so much rich Black history. You have to understand, this is the first time that I've been an evening anchor. The 5, the 6, and 11 o'clock p.m. newscast. I've been a 10 o'clock anchor when someone took a chance on me at another station. But to be the evening anchor, I took a chance on WTVJ, and WTVJ took a chance on me. Without WTVJ, my life would be totally different. Because I was the weekend anchor, we did amazing things. Then I become the morning anchor with Pam Giganti. The last time our show was pretty much #1 in the market. And when Pam and I created that magic in the morning, I'm filling in the shoes of Bob Mayer on that morning show, someone that had so much rich history. I didn't think it could get bigger than that. And so when I was called in the office thinking I was in trouble one day, and then Larry Olovich, our general manager, McDowell, is sitting there with a smile on their face, and I'm like, what's going on? And they say, you are going to be our evening anchor. That was a pursuit of happiness moment. My whole life changed. I knew my whole life was going to change, not only here in the South Florida community, but also for my family. WTVJ, I mean this, has changed my life. It's enabled me to connect with the community even more so than I can ever even imagine.